Hey everybody, and welcome to Hex Token channel and Superman Crypto channels as well. Over 9,500 subscribers. A big shout out to all of you. I hope you guys are having a blast. Man, oh man, what a morning to wake up to. Wow. Black Swan event. And of course, we're going to talk all about that. The SEC, Richard Hart, Pulsechain, and all the prices. Obviously, the prices are dip. What does that mean? Well, you have to decide. And of course, it can mean getting more volume. It can mean selling. It can mean holding. And of course, we will see. It's going to take quite a bit of time for all this to play out. But we're going to have a little bit of review of that too. So let's get in the chat. Say hello to everybody. Wow. Fun times. I know the Discord is got a huge chat going on in there about all the opportunities or drama or whatever you want to look at. Life's beneath in the house there. Hello, how are you today? Of course, very good. And of course, the ultimate strategy, Hex, EHEX, PLS, PLSX, and the incentive for the win. And we're going to talk a bit about that as we go today. So big shout out to the golden strategy of crypto. We've got to see here RH for the win, Hex token for the win. I like this, lies beneath, coming in with the alpha and the excitement straight off. We got Sandy Beach in the house as well. Good to see Sandy Beach. And who else is in here? What a day, time for DCA. So Sandy's letting her strategy, DCA, dollar cost averaging, on a Black Swan event. Yeah. And we also got a testing of the gap, right? Sometimes in charts, the price comes back, test the gap, and we got it with a Black Swan event. So hey. But this is DeFi and this is crypto. So you guys know what happens in that ecosystem too. Once again, nothing on this channel is financial advice, but you've got to make your own decision. Opportunities or what challenges, you decide. We got Rolos in the house there. What's up with the SEC going up, Richard Hart? And this don't sound good, says Rolos. Who else there? Harry Williams. Can see Harry. Yo. You got a Y and then a yo. I guess you were a bit undecided when you put the Y here, but you got decisive when you put the yo. So nice one on that one. Hey, Ryan, good to see you. Pulsechain, massive dip buy. Oh, so we've got Sandy Beach DCA and we've got Ryan buying the dip. Whoa. So we got lots of buyers out there, that's for sure. Hex Force One says, hey, Superman, I'm still buying. These prices are tasty, says Hex Force One. Man, you guys are all buying. Wow, buying the dip, buying the Black Swan event. In other words, you're getting a lot more volume for your buck. Wow, that's pretty interesting. You guys, that is pretty good. Capella guys in the house there says, hey, all, did anything interesting happen today? Well, we're trying to talk about some stuff that's interesting, but definitely opportunity abounds, challenges abound, but people make decisions. It's going to be pretty interesting. Cool. I'm glad I didn't miss anything. Took the day off, says Archipelago. Very nice. Very nice. Or as Gomer Pa would say, when you woke up this morning, you see the charts and you go, surprise. That's pretty much it. What else there? Lice Beneath says, I got a ton of PHEX. Just saying. Sounds like some people have been picking up on this dip here. No wonder it seems to have bounced back. We got Scott Jackson as well. Good morning, all. Good to see you, Scott. Welcome to the chat. David Gomez smashed the like button on the way in. Welcome to DeFi, folks. Man. It is decentralized. So that's all I'm going to say there. Joey Torres in there. What's up, all? Good to see Joey. Excavator in the house as well. Yo. Woo. We've got a lot of excitement in the chat here. I think people have been picking up a lot of volumes. I think that's probably what the excitement's going on here as well. David says, hodl everybody and ignore the FUD. Katie in the house as well. Good to see one of our two community leaders in the house. Hey, all. Good to see you, KD. Hexcavator, hey, super. Good to see you. Rock Surge in the house with the Hex. Bob Wells, hey, everybody. Good to see you, Bob. I see your tweets, by the way, Bob, on Twitter all the time. So big shout out to you. You are, I do notice. Well, Wally Pasang in house. Hello, Hexkins, Pulsechins, 100%. And of course, hello, fella. Was it Loonbird? Says Academiciated. Yeah, indeed. That's crypto for you. Loonbird's full of cryptos, but smart Loonbirds, right? Smart, because we're playing the opportunities. This is where you get the opportunities. You can't get it in traditional markets. It's very, very difficult. Maybe the top 5%, but in crypto, it allows everybody to have a good chance. Thomas says, man, I couldn't get any transaction through last night. I'm glad it's still down this morning. Got to get some buys in, says Tombos. And Bob Wells as well, bought this morning as soon as I woke up and saw the red candle, says Bob. Woohoo! Eddie says the SEC is the true scammer. They caused my bag value to drop, although we will not go down. That's right. That is the case there. So you can explore that whole idea if you wanted to. We're not going to be doing it on this channel. But yes, interesting perspective there on who actually destroys the value. Interesting one there. Wally Pasang in house there. I'd love to see and fund a class action lawsuit against the SEC, says Wally Pasang. Hey, you just never know. You just never know. It's going to be quite interesting to see how this plays out. No expectations from the work with others. Let's go, says KD. Dan says 20,000 Pulsechain values holding strong, says Dan. Yeah, we're going to have a look at that in a minute. We're going to have a look at all those numbers. So we're going to go through all the numbers, and so stay tuned for all that. We're going to be covering it all. Excavator says, buying Hex now. Woohoo, says Excavator. Nice, very nice. Yeah, you're putting up lots of volume for your for the buck there, so it's going to be a lot of fun. Francesco says, reminds me of the COVID dip in 2020. I'm definitely DCAing over the weeks. Next week, says Francesco. A nice one, yeah. Dollar cost averaging is a good way of picking that up too. And some people are doing that. Some people are just buying on the big dip. Others will DCA to pick up any movements in there as well. Well planned RH, the highest of stakes soon. That's right. We're only a couple of days away from the highest of stakes. And some might say this is massive advertising. Massive advertising. So we're going to see. So we're going to talk about that in a minute. It is a civil case, remember, as well. So Brian's in house there, other community leader. Big shout out to Brian. What's up, folks? Brian is absolutely crushing it in our Discord. Helps so many people, and of course, always covering some pretty good topics in there as well. So definitely big shout out to Brian. Christian as well. What's good? Mecha DGN's in the house. Good to see you, Christian. And who else has jumped in here as well? You can't miss my pups, Superman, says Bob Wells. Well, you'll have to put you'll have. That's true. But you also have to post them in our Discord. You have to post some images. Yes, we are smart loonbirds, says Sandy Beach. I like that. That's true. Hey, we've got InvestX in the house as well. Good evening, all. Big welcome to you, InvestX. InvestX is crushing it. In fact, we're using one of InvestX's charts today, the combined price of Hex, EHEX, and PX. We'll be using that today. It's really, really good. And a big shout out to InvestX, the number one workstation for Pulsechain users on Pulsechain. If you want something that tracks all the prices, tracks your portfolio, helps you decide on things, InvestX is the place to be. And I've also moved into the AI space as well. So definitely check out investx.io. We've got JB in the house as well. Morning, Hex Token family. Good morning to you. Richard Levin, thanks for leaving the farms, guys. More incentive token for this pleb, says Richard. That's pretty funny. That's true. So we're going to talk about that too. I think RH wrote the SEC's press release to shake out some more hands, says Hexog. That's pretty funny. I can't wait for RH to overcome this BS. Well, it's right. The one to rule them all. It's going to be quite a fun thing to watch in some ways. Pudding Guru says, what a day, indeed. Who else is there? Christian says, I want to see how much we made on penalties. Indeed. We've got obviously Hex penalties. What else we've got? We've got buy and burn, EIP 1959 burn. So yeah. Lots of when you get these big volume moves, you get big volume buy and burns, don't you? I'm going to check all that out too. Justin says going to take multiple years for this to do anything now with the SEC involved. Well, I do think there are a couple of issues that will be long-standing. So I agree with you on that, Justin. But the ecosystem itself is still rolling out, and all the big stuff still coming in the next 30 to 60 days. So from that point of view, and all the leverage lending from that's coming, that is true. But one might argue about the DAI war chest could be an issue. What will be the branding impact? Will it be a net benefit? We will see, because there's pros and cons to that. There's probably two big things, and of course stable coins as well. So, but we've got our own native stable coins coming, and that's part of the big thing that's coming in the next 30, 60 days. So watch out for that. Aren't we lucky to have native stable coins? Really is a big deal. You're going to watch those play out in the next 30, 60 days. Property Review says, good show today. Thanks, Hex Token. You're welcome, Property Review. Always a pleasure to have you in the chat there. Brian says this will settle much faster than the XRP case. I think it'll be faster, yeah, but it'll still take a bit of time, as my guess, depending on how they play this out. Who else there? Christian says 1 million PLS at the moment for about $60 is a sale, says Christian. And Bob Wells says, and a fantastic coincidence. Please, no one thinks otherwise. No connection, says Bob. Yeah, true. G'day, everybody. Time to buy more, says Genuine. Man, we've got a lot of DCAs and buyers in the chat today. The FOMO is real. The buying opportunity, the SEC, but also it's a double-edged sword. And, of course, you guys are getting the positive edge. Justin says, courts in New York, this will not settle for at least 2 years, at least, says Justin. Yeah, I believe they're trying to go for a court by, a trial court, is it, where you got the people sitting in the boxes? Can't remember now. Got a brain freeze, but that's trial by peers. I'm sick of the SEC, says Charity. Yeah, they generally do a lot of stuff that people have said in the chat there. D007 says, what is the 19 months in green above the chat section? Thanks to Richard Hart Club. Where what is the 19 months in green above? I don't see that at all. Is that you? Oh, that's D007. No, I don't see that at all. Let me have it. Oh, 19 months. Oh, this too. SKB in the house. Keep the faith. Oh, that's SKB. He's the first Hex Token member here, and of course he was in the Richard Hart Club. So big shout out to you. I don't know if that's showing up in my comment field actually. So a big shout out to SKB, the first ever supporter of this channel through the membership, which is awesome. 19 months now, Richard Hart Club, which is a top membership. A big shout out to SKB, and thank you so much for your support as we are moving along the rollout of Pulsechains ecosystem. Big shout out. Nice one there, D007. Thanks for reminding me of that. I didn't quite see that. What else we got going? We got, I don't even know if that comes up on my chat. Does it come up on my chat? I don't know. Only it does, but can't see it here at the moment. What else we got going? I think we're up to date, are we? Just almost. We're almost up to the comments. KSB membership, Brian says, yeah, indeed. The only one to beat me, says Brian, is SKB. SKB is the only one that's added Brian on the membership. That is true. 19-month membership in the house from SKB. Absolutely amazing, says Brian. Justin says wrecked there. Wrecked. Well, everyone else is buying what Justin is talking wrecked. And Bob Wells in there with the funny faces. Nice one. Let's get into it, folks. Let's bring up the news, of course, the SEC. We're going to briefly cover this. And, of course, the SEC charges Hex founder Richard Hart with misappropriating millions of dollars for investment funds from unregistered crypto asset security offerings that raised more than $1 billion. Now, this is the key, right? They've got to prove this, right? So they've got to prove this, the SEC. That is where the court case will head. Is they've got to prove these allegations about Richard Hart and all these other things like that. So these are some of the key claims, right? I'm not going to read out the whole thing because I'm going to refer you to somebody else who's already done that, all right? So basically, they are talking about the Securities and Exchange Commission today charged Richard Hart, aka Richard Schuler, and 3 unincorporated entities that he controls. So that's going to be challenged too, right? So all this will be challenged, all these assertions. He controls Hex, Pulsechain, and PulseX with conducting unregistered offerings of crypto asset securities, right? So it's also about jurisdiction. There's a jurisdiction issue here. Obviously, the chain, everything is on the chain, decentralized in the sense that the blockchain is decentralized. So it's got values around the world. So all the stuff has to be challenged again. So that's going to be pretty interesting to see. That raised more than $1 billion in crypto assets from the investors. The other one that they tagged on, and this is the one that's going to be pretty interesting to see whether they can back this one up and get this one through. The SEC also charged Hart and Pulsechain with fraud for misappropriating at least $12 million of offering proceeds to purchase luxury goods, including sports cars, watches, and 555-carat black diamond known as the Enigma, reportedly the largest black diamond in the world. So this is the emotional side, right? This is the emotional side. So this is why they tagged this in, and they also have to prove this too. They also have to prove all that. They have to make a connection to that too, as opposed to Richard using his own funds from elsewhere, like when he was a millionaire from his business that he had, and things like that, and his investments, etc., etc. So they've got to prove all this. Those are the two biggest assertions there, Hex and so forth. So that's kind of where the play is. The next thing, of course, I've got down here is, as alleged, those funds were intended to support development of a supposed crypto asset network. And of course, the other bit that they're looking to try and challenge, the complaint further alleges that Hart attempted to evade security laws by calling on investors to sacrifice instead of invest their crypto assets in exchange for Pulse and Pulsechain. So this is going to be the great challenge of this approach of sacrificing with no expectations from the work of others and the Howey test. So that is going to be pretty interesting to see, and of course we're going to see that play out. So it's going to be tested now. Hart called on investors, they say, to buy crypto asset securities and offerings that he failed to register. And of course, he then defrauded those investors by spending some of their crypto assets on exorbitant luxury goods. So that's what they're trying to do here. That defraudment, that's going to be tough to do, I think. But we will see what evidence they have been able to subpoena or get hold of. That's going to be pretty interesting. The other one, of course, is that Hart called on investors to buy asset securities on offerings. So we're going to be seeing whether they actually, whether they meet the Howey test, they actually securities and all sort of stuff. That's all going to play out in the court. So it's all got to be challenged. And of course, Richard Hart and his legal team will be on to that. So it's going to be interesting to see that play out. So that's pretty much the highlights there of the press release. I'm not going to go through the actual documents, but that is the press release there. So those are kind of the ones I highlighted. And all of that has, all those assertions and allegations have to be tested in the court. So, and maybe they'll get some out of court a settlement. We will see what happens with all that too. So there's so many elements, folks, to this. And of course, you could read that. Now, the reason I'm not going through it is because Rags to Riches has gone through the documents. So if you want to actually go beyond the press release into the documents, Rags to Riches has done a full walkthrough. So you can go through that. There's no need for me to go through that for 2 hours when Rags to Riches has already done it. So you can go check through that. I thought he did a very good job, as always, going through this stuff in detail. So that's Rags to Riches. If you want to go listen to his walkthrough, which is pretty cool. So a big shout out to Rags for that. So that will go through all the document. You can see here, he goes through all the document here, the United States District Court, Securities and Exchange Commission plaintiff. This is Richard Hart, Schuler, Hex, Pulsechain, and Pulsechain as defendants. And the interesting thing, they're trying to bring in Hex, Pulsechain, and Pulsechain as entities. So from the looks of it, so that's also interesting as defendants. So that's how they're trying to tie it all together. They put the emotional stuff about the 12 million in the movie. They put that all together and they try to make it an emotional thing as well, and use the word fraud to pull the fraud in as well. So that's what they do. It's pretty typical. All right, so Rags goes through a lot of the stuff. You can check that all out. Does a great job as always. So that's pretty cool. Now, if you want to see some price stuff like that, and compared to like EOS and XRP and price targets and maybe buying, holding, selling, then your friend Somi has also done a video. Breaking SEC sues Richard Hart. So he's done a video on a lot of the stuff, and you can see him go through a lot of the price stuff here, where the price might go, what people might do, and all that sort of stuff. So you can check out all that stuff on your friend Somi. Does a good video of that too. So you can check out that. Pretty cool. Yeah, Bob says Rag's stream was awesome. And of course, here's your friend Somni. He goes through a lot of the stuff, comparing it to other issues, and of course, where the price might go. And of course, he says he's been buying the dip. So he also has been buying the dip, your friend Somni. And so have a lot of other people on Twitter. If you go and see Twitter, a lot of others have been doing that. Yeah, and a big shout to SKB, member for 19 months. Keep the faith. That is from SKB there. Nice. Let me go to live chat there too. All right. Looking good. So those are the links. Did I post those? I think I did. That is the link to your friend Somi. And I'll get rid of this ad at the moment. So that is kind of some of the interesting things there. Now we're going to play a little video of flashback of Richard Hart talking about the SEC and its powers. So let's have a quick look at that.
Pulsechains go with global regulation with the SEC. God. Hey man, did you know the SEC said that EOS was an unregistered security? And did you know that EOS settled with the SEC for $27 million and got an exemption from the SEC to continue doing business? I like it when I hear people say things like SEC is going to lock people up. The SEC is not a criminal enforcement agency and cannot lock you up and does not have agents to kick in your door and lock you up. They're not the Department of Justice. The most they can do is file civil lawsuits and or refer things to the Department of Justice so that they can do their job.
Yeah, so I think there's a lot of things that can happen. If you think about a tree, a lot of things can happen in terms of these allegations laid by the SEC. So we're going to see how it all plays out in the future. But in the meantime, Pulsechain is on the blockchain, decentralized, and of course over 20,000 validators, and it's going to keep on ticking. The Pulsechain ecosystem keeps on growing, and of course the money keeps on flowing. So that is pretty much it. Yes, I did take that a little bit out of the Wizard of Oz. The Wizard of Oz? No. What's the other guy's name? The lollipop guy. I can't remember his name now. Anyway, let's move on because I've forgotten what the movie's called. You guys let me know in the chat what the movie's called. There we are. That's your trivia today. What's the Oompa Loompas? Yeah, the Oompa Loompas. Yeah. I can't remember the movie still. It's got a brain freeze here. One of the greatest movies of all time. Breteps in the house says, see, no one's put the comment yet. What's happening on there? Anyway, so we've got Bretep, the pretty much a senior Pulsechain dev, and he put this out 3 hours ago. I am a happy user of Pulsechain. Willy Wonka, thank you, Willy Wonka. Damn it, I knew I was going to get that wrong. That's funny. Willy Wonka is what I was talking about. I was using a little sound theme from there. The Willy Wonka after Rock Surge. Willy Wonka there. Yeah. There is my shame. Not Zoolander. No, not Zoolander. And I'm not going to do the Zoolander face either. That is not happening. Oompa Loompa. Yeah, Oompa Loompas. Yeah. All right. So anyway, back to Pulsechain. The Pulsechain dev, Bretep. So we're not going to hear from Richard Hart, of course, but we've got Bretep. I'm a happy user of Pulsechain, Pulsex, and Hex. And of course, this is cool, right? This is coming from the Pulsechain dev. I'm a happy user of Pulsechain, Pulsex, and Hex. So I thought that was pretty cool that you guys would love that. 21,000 views on that too. Isn't that cool? So if you want to say hello to Bretep, Pulsechain dev, who's maintaining this blockchain and in a decentralized fashion for the upgrades as well, that's pretty interesting. So there we are. Humberto says this will all work in our favor. Just believe, says Humberto. And of course, that is the link there to the tweet from Bretep, the dev, Pulsechain dev. And of course, I like that words. I'm a happy user of Pulsechain, Pulsex, and Hex. And I think we are too. And Pulsechain is about to explode with the ecosystem. It's all about to roll out all the big stuff in the next 30, 60 days. And we're going to be talking about that later on. So stay tuned for all that stuff. So kind of cool. All right. This cool thing of being in DeFi and crypto, the blockchain keeps ticking. I'm going to say that again. I'm going to get that line now. I'm going to go back. Someone clip that. You can, who is it? Archipelago. You can clip it. No, who else clips it? Who clips it? Yeah, I think it's Archipelago. You go clip that little video and you can post it on Twitter and I'll retweet it if you get it. That'd be pretty fun. All right, jokes aside. Archipelago says, I can't turn left. Zoolander. Yeah, I can't. That was pretty funny. Almost had me in fits when you said that. We are a smart chat, says Sandy Beach. You are indeed. You're also interpretive. All right, so let's move on to the markets. We're going to get into the Pulsechain updates, but let's turn off that. I'm going to close down all these. We're going to get into the crypto markets. Let me just refresh this and get to this. So what else? We got BTC at the moment is holdings at the same place. This is the third day in a row or fourth day in a row. 29,217. It look like deja vu every single day. Ethereum at the moment is at $1,856 at the moment. Everything else is pretty much flattish except for SHIB. SHIB is up a little bit. It's up 2%. And Uni is also up 2% as well. And we are expecting, was it Uniswap, UniX or something, and Uniswap version 4. We are expecting that to come down the line. XMR as well is up just a little bit there too. So there's a few little movers, but most of it's just slightly down, but basically just sitting there moving sideways is the old crypto market. That brings us on to Pulsechain, the impact of the SEC. And of course, we will see. We've got Pulsechain at the moment at quadruple 066. So we've been talking about it being quite confidently sitting at, was it 0001, which is a sacrifice price, been sitting around that pretty much. It is now at a discount. It is only 66% of the sacrifice value. It is down 34.6% at the time of this live stream. That is pretty much it. Now, look what else has happened here, folks. Look what's happened. They've removed the burn because the burn number wasn't updating. You can see it on the blocks. When you look at the blockchain, you can see it by block the burn, but they aren't able to get a reliable burn figure now. But they stay tuned for that. That we're hoping to get one of those in due course. So Big shout out to, I think it was Archipelago of Brennan and the team reached out to the dev and got a update about why that number wasn't updating. So we've answered that. So stay tuned for that with the EIP 1559 burn plus the 4,096 original validators that exited and burned their pulse. So we'll stay tuned for that. It's coming up. So that is pretty much it. We've also got a lot of stuff happening in that place. So let's quickly look at some of the bridges. Obviously, you get a bit of a capital flight when you have a Black Swan event. So stable coins in particular have been impacted on the bridge. And of course, there is processing delays on the bridge also using the official bridge from Pulsechain. But once again, Black Swan events, you're going to get the volatility. And of course, then you get opportunity as well. So it's not always challenges. But that's pretty much it. The Pulse price here over the last couple of hours. So this is where we are on the news. So this was back at 2 o'clock in the morning, my time. So I was well asleep at this time when all the drama happened. I went to sleep about here. This is when I went to sleep. And this is what happened 2 hours later. Did I have a nightmare during my sleep? I don't think I did. But anyway, it came back down. And of course, got all the way down. Look at that. Wow. So that was a pretty dramatic decrease there on the old Pulsechain. And of course, you get some capital flight. So down 60%, that was the decrease. Wow. Let us know in the chat there if you managed to pick up any of that because that was pretty spectacular. And of course, now we're back up. So we bounced back up. So if you were bought down near this dip, let's not go right to the bottom. Let's go down to about here. So how far do we get down to? 4 zeros, 4,080 from 10,000. So it's pretty dramatic. And of course, now we're back up. How much? Back up 62%. So if you got off the bottom, you would be up about 62% or somewhere thereabouts. Pretty amazing. And of course, we got back up quite a bit. That's how far we got back up from this bounce all the way back up to 83%, which is not a bad bounce at the moment. It's kind of indecision. This is right in the middle, so it's kind of indecision. 2/3, typically if it goes to 2/3, gets back up to around here, we would be even in a strong position. But once again, we just have to wait at the moment. It has been like this for the last couple of hours, just holding on here at this stage. We're at quadruple 066 is where we are at the moment. So there's the hourly chart. Let's have a look. So we're down 34.4% at the moment. But we have been down as much as 60%. That's the chart on the daily. Look at that chart. And of course, we talked about it gapping here. This is the gapping of the chart at the beginning of Pulsechain. It has gapped down to that with the big volume and the volume there, massive 53 million. And of course, back up we are at the moment. So back up here, we're going to be watching this chart over time. So watch this snap back. Pretty cool so far. Early days still, and a lot of people dollar cost averaging into that. That leads us into the Pulsex. Pulsex is down 36% at the moment at the time of this video, down a little bit stronger than Pulse. We got the price there down at quadruple 02. And of course, at the moment, one Pulse will get you a 3.3 Pulsex. So Pulse is relatively stronger than Pulse. Let's have a look at the Pulsex price. And of course, this is where we're up here. We're up at quadruple 0.314.6. And then, of course, we got pushed all the way down to a quadruple 0.1116. Unbelievable. And of course, now we are fighting around this area of around quadruple 02 at the moment. So that's kind of where we are at the moment. So let's have a look at that chart. We got all the way down to about 65%, so slightly stronger than Pulse. That's pretty much it. We're still down at the moment about 38%, but on the upside, we are up about 75%, so a bigger relative increase back there as well. And let's have a quick look at Pulse as well. Just while we're here, Pulse at the moment is still down from where it started, down about 36% on the decrease there. So that is kind of those numbers. Moving to the buy and burn. So yeah, we've had some capital changes here. Let's go to Pulsex first. Pulsex yield farming. We can see that the liquidity pools in USDC, USD Tether have, and even DAI itself, the Richard Hart pool, as I would call it, because it's got DAI. And of course, that is, we've seen a dramatic decrease in those pool sizes as well. You can check my video. Actually, I don't think I did it yesterday, but there's been dramatic pull downs in those LPs as well. And of course, that is what happens when you get a Black Swan event. And of course, you have to wait for it all to fall back up, right? So the APRs at the moment, the DAI is 128%. USDC is, so DAI is actually held up fairly well, as one would expect it to hold up relatively better. It's got still $22 million in there, 29% there in the DAI, which means that if we have a look at the multiplier, we've got a 40x multiplier, and of course $1,000. That's a third of your capital back a day at the moment on $1,000 at the moment on that. USDC at 97%, wrapped ETH at 117. Oh, it's moving around a lot, by the way. So as the price moves around on Pulse, Pulse is going to move around. It's going to these percentages will move around a lot. And of course, the USD Tether there 109% as well. Hex Pulse is at 24%, and Pulse is at 18. I think that's pretty similar to what they were. So it's really these other ones here. And then incentive token 97% for Pulse and 101% for the incentive Pulse X pool there at the moment. And that is where we are at this stage. Of course, you can also go to V2 and look at the farms, because remember the V2 is where you get the share of the fees. 0.22% is the fees there. So let's have a quick look at those. And we're going to have a look at the info tabs. Let me go have a look at that. Going to have a look at the pools. Hopefully it populates this time. Sometimes it doesn't for me. When I'm doing live streams, it likes to not show up for some reason. Yeah, it does it again every time. It's probably because I've got so much stuff open that it doesn't render for me when I move to that site. But definitely that will probably populate a bit later. We might come back to it. All right, so that's pretty much it on there. The burn has been huge. What is the burn increase? Is it like 18 billion or something? I'm just trying to remember what it was yesterday. 265. So we up 265, I think it was. So because of the big volume that the whales dump. So the whales dump and get stable coins out, right? And so the stables come out of the pools and things. People, go risk averse and risk management there, and protect their retirement or something. And so then we got about 18 billion in burn in one day. It's pretty dramatic. So that is the number, 283.4. So there are positives that come out of the Black Swan events. Obviously positives if you manage to get more volume and the price stays up, and there's positives for the global positive is to buy and burn. And this doesn't care about what's going on. It will buy and burn regardless. And of course, it looks like we've had a massive burn. And of course, about 18 billion, which is unbelievable. We're at 1.36% of the public supply is now burned. So that's a massive acceleration. I know K4K will love that because he loves the buy and burn. I don't know if he loves it as much as me. Yeah, he loves it heaps more than me. He talks about it 10 times more than me, but I love it heaps. So if I love it heaps and he talks about it 10 times more than me, then he loves it 10 times more than me. I guess it's fair, right? That's fair. You got to give credit where credit's due. So that is pretty much it on that one. We got incentive token at the moment at $3.16, down 40%. So that's pretty much the same performance as Pulsechains there. And of course, the ratio is at 49,726. So that's 49,726 Pulse per incentive token. And of course, that is broken the 50 there on that too. I didn't actually bring up the chart, but that is the one there. We're going to have to bring up the chart because I want to have this since we are documenting Pulsechain. You guys know that we're doing that on this channel, right? That's why we stream every day to document the old Pulsechain experience. And of course, let's go to find the incentive token there. Actually, let's go back to Pulsechain on the lead here. We're still up pretty high on the leaderboard. Look at that, 1, 2, 3, 4 on the volume. We're crushing it. 166 is it? 166 million volume. That's pretty good. All right, so let's go look at the incentive Pulse chart here. I didn't bring it up earlier, but that is it. So wow, dramatic. So let's go have a look at the price in Pulse. So the ratio is actually not too bad. The ratio got down to 47,873. We're now bounced back on a new chart here. Yeah, we're back at this, a new candle here. So we're starting a new day here on Hex Token and on our charts. And we're at 49,722. We bounced off 48,200 there, approximately. Well, 47,873. We're bounced off that at the moment. So that is where the ratio is today. All right. That's without single-sided staking pools and things like that. So we should still reasonably expect those mechanisms to come into play on the old Pulse X as well. No expectations, but we probably still have those come. It might be experimental though. We will see. So that is kind of that ratio there at the moment. Let's go back to that's the run there. There's now 6.9 million incentive tokens in existence. 6.9 million. And 7,800 of them have been burned so far, which is 0.114%. And of course, that is a big thank you to Richard Hart. That is that token burning the old Richard Hart tokens there or at least the Pulsechains, etc. Hex, of course, we're going to talk about that in a second. But have we finished talking about these other things? I think that's it. So we did have GoPulse did a crisis status update about 2.5 hours ago. Constantly talking, says GoPulse with Let's Exchange.io. They're still working on getting back Pulse liquidity. And of course, the change now widget seems to be super slow. Still working for most users, just takes 2 to 3 hours. You can try gopulse.com.buy if you want something a bit faster there. Pulsechains bridge 12.5% clogged. And of course, we looked at that as well. We can see that up here. It's actually got better now. It's down to about 7.5% from the looks of it, approximately, if I'm reading that indicator correctly. Best play at the moment is to buy the PLS dip. This is from GoPulse, and apparently everybody in the chat as well is also doing the strategy with stables you already got bridged in. Hopefully GoPulse.com will be ready within 7 days to help with all of this, because they're bringing a more further, ability to buy and transact on the old chain there. So they are coming with a solution too. We're working around the clock, keep you updated, and that is from GoPulse there. So kind of cool on that update. So I'll leave a link to that tweet because that's pretty cool. I'm going to get back into the chat in a second before I'm just going to wrap up on the old Hex here. Maybe I should get back in the chat first, and then we're going to talk about Hex. Hex is next. So yeah, we've talked about USD Capital. We've talked about the Pulsechains farms. We've talked about the prices at the moment. So yeah, we've talked about quite a bit there. And we're also going to talk about the TVL. We talked about the farms. We're going to talk about the TVL. TVL on a Pulse here on DeFi Llama. Obviously, we're ticking along here at around about 330 million. And this includes Pulsechains and all the other DEXs that at least are registered, but they're all undervalued, right? Because they don't record the proper prices for a lot of stuff. So this is like a minimum, if you want to put it. But really, it's underplaced. Anyway, so we can see the chart going off down here, down to 198 million on the old chart, reflecting today's Black Swan event. And of course, you can see some of the pullbacks here in the markets here with some of the different DEXs. So Pulsechains, PHX, Pulse Rate, Daytona, Chirp Finance, etc. They're all there. All right, so that is pretty much it on that. We'll look forward to that bouncing back, right? Right, Eel? Yeah, we will. So that's pretty much it. So we've covered the bridge as well briefly on the bridge. We've covered all that sort of stuff. And yeah, this is what happens when you have an incident like this happen. All right, so that leads us into Hex. But before we do that, let's catch up in the chat. I don't want to get too far behind. We've had a good chat day today. And man. What else we got going? Let's have a look here. We got past the Oompa Loompas, past the I Can't Turn Left, the Zoolander. We're past that. What else there? Richard says Richard said this should be the final low. Target $1. Says Richard. Yeah, I like where you're getting with that. That's for sure. Sandy Beach says Hex Token. Did you show my membership anniversary? Did that pop up, Sandy? Did that pop up? I can't remember. If it's today, I don't know. I can't see any other anniversary up there. But big shout out to Sandy Beach for her support to the channel. Maybe that came up the other day when you were not here. I don't know. Maybe that came up. I'm not sure. Let me know, Sandy. Let me know. Willy Wonka says the hooch. Yeah, Willy Wonka. I was trying to move past that, but hey, you have to bring it back. What else there? Richard says, I remember incentive token sitting at $60, now $3.28. Buy the dip. Yeah, I'm more interested in the ratio of that. And of course, I think that's going to bounce back with single-sided staking a bit later if when that does appear. We've still got, like we said, we had the dev pre-tip there saying I like playing on Pulse, was it? Pulse and Pulsechains. I like that. So Andrew Reynolds says, hi all, I bought the Pulse dip. Nice one, Andrew. Only halfway down though. I think that's pretty good. Chris says, open house, a bunch of opportunities, scoop season, NFA, not financial advice there from Christian. I can't believe some of the whales selling at these lows. I bought a small bag of Pulsechains at the dip. Yeah, what happens is whales will just sell down and dump into stable coins. That's generally what they do when they get a Black Swan event. So that's what we see such strong wicks. Let's wick it down. General says on Power City swap trading not available. You mean Portal X? Portal X is not available. Let's have a look at Portal X. Let's have a look at that. Now they're using Portal X. That is up here. I don't know. That's Portal X you're talking about there. Let us know if that's working at the moment and whether they've got any updates at the moment. Now, they should all be working. It's just a matter of liquidity. What you're getting, the price you're getting, should still be working. Does anybody remember when Richard or Hexkin solicited the SEC for a ruling on whether Hex and Pulse are securities? When Richard or Hexkin solicited the SEC for, I think that, yeah, I faintly remember that some time back ago. I don't think it was Richard, though. I thought it was somebody else. I just can't remember the name. Bob Wells says, my farms are looking amazing. Thank you, SEC, says Bob. Astrid says, RH Ecosystem Advertising Day. Yeah, it is a big advertising day, that's for sure. It is getting a lot of coverage online, particularly on Twitter and YouTube. Archipelago says it's about 21 billion or so. What else there? Oh, that's on the buy and burn. Yeah, the buy and burn. So it is actually pretty cool. Oh, sorry, 18, 19. Okay, so I was right, around 18 billion or so. That's pretty cool. But that's a big burn, man. That's a massive burn on Pulsechains. Look at that burn, 284. That percentage burn now is 136. And that's, driven by whales and everybody else that jumps on the back of the whales. And, of course, that also has the bounce back as well. So you're on the sell down, big volume. On the buybacks, big volume across all the pairs on the old Pulsechains. So huge event for getting rid of. Means that Pulsechains is more scarce now than it was by 18 to 19 billion. And that's going to keep going for at least a little while, right? So that burn's going to be particularly high at the moment while we've got the volatility. What's the best way to bridge across Pulsechain at the moment? Well, the official bridge is taking a bit of time. You could still try Portal X and Beetroot. I think some of these other ones like that. There may be a few more in the chat. I'm sure some people might answer that. Stake Hex, thank me later. So the Reuters news article says that the problem is RH misused funds from the sacrifice. Yes, so that's what I said. That's why I said they added that in. They added that in, the fraud stuff with the 12 million and the dime and all that. That's the sensational side. This is how they play, right? So they want to sensationalize the whole thing. And because the chains are decentralized, everything like that, they had to put in the honeypot, and that's why that's all in there. But if funds went to Pulse or PulseX development, that would define the security. Yeah, anything like that, anything with expectations, how he tests there. So it's all going to go to court, like I say. We'll see what happens. If you want to find out more of a read through, check out Rag's video, and of course, Sami's did a good video on the prices and other comparable events like EOS and XRP and things. Brian says Portal X was having trouble for a user in the Discord earlier. Says Brian. Okay. I was trying to use it during the big red candle to avoid bridge. Wasn't working for me either. Yeah, probably under those extreme events may have struggle working out the price. If you got some big massive move, may have issues with liquidity and things like that. Finding a good pathway. What up, Superman? Long time no hear. Says Pineapple Love. Hey, good to see you, Pineapple Love. I think you're on Superman Crypto, aren't you? Let's have a look there. Yeah, Pineapple Love. Pretty sure you're on Superman Crypto. I know we've got Ryan over there. We've got Hooch over there too. Big shout out to Superman Crypto channel watchers. Yeah, we're over here on Pineapple Loves here on Hex Token chat. Check my pulse as well. What's up, y'all? Good to see you. Check my pulse. And Brian says 17 months for Sandy. 17 months for Sandy as Hex Token channel member represents. So big support there, Sandy. Looks like, yeah, we've got it's SKB 19 months. Brian, I think you must be about 18 months, Brian, are you? And then we got Sandy Beach at 17 months. So some big long-term supporters there in the house. What's y'all? Yep. What's up, y'all? Says check my pulse. Good to see you. Yes, it did, says Sandy. Let me have a look at some of these other comments here. Roderick Patrick in the house. Good morning, Superman and y'all. Good to see you. Let's come back to that. Roderick's actually saying the Coast Direct on-ramp isn't available today. Yes, so the Coast on-ramp, direct on-ramp is going to be delayed until, I think, towards the end of next week. So that's, they wanted to fix, they did try to test it, and then I think they had one issue. They want to make it perfect. And of course, we want it perfect too. So that is coming a bit later, yeah, but the timings would have been even better today, wouldn't it? Pineapple Love says, Portal X, I used. It is fabulous. I love it, says Pineapple Apple. Yeah, Pineapple Love. I said Pineapple Apple. That's not fair. Pineapple Love. What else there? Check my pulse says free advertising courtesy of Gary and the SEC. Perfect timing. No, for the highest of stakes, certainly the highest stakes coming out in a couple of days. Certainly going to generate more interest in going to see the movie now, even more than it was. It was already doing well. Don't tell us it's Change Now. You could use Change Now directly. You could try that. Portal X, I thought used Change Now though because they're super DEX aggregators, so they should go through that as well. Don't know if they go through Beetroot yet though. So Beetroot Privacy Hub. Jump in after the Discord there. You know, obviously I'm live streaming at the moment, charity, so we'll look at that. Change Now has, as this posted, kindly note we are experiencing issues with the PLS payout process. The technical team is investigating and the cause and is already working on a solution from Change Now. Nice one, Brian. So that's good for you, Charity. Update. Jaren says, yes, wanted a coast up, but it's too late for this, indeed. Yeah, so I would try Portal X again, Change Now, Beetroot, this Patius, that does Patius work. Let me know if Patius, I think I'm saying it right. There's quite a few options out there, actually. So, yeah, those are some of the leader ones, though, that we know about. All right, so let's have a look at Pulsechains. Pulsechains at the moment is, or Hex at the moment, is fighting to stay around 2 cents combined. So at the moment, PHEX is at 1.32 cents, down 33.7%. And of course, EHEX is at 0.064 at the moment. So combine those together, 1.96 cents. So China is just popping over and above 2 cents all the time. And of course, at the moment, 1 PHEX will get you 2.04 EHEX at the moment. And that is pretty much that as well. 1 PHEX will get you 205 Pulse at the moment. So that is also an interesting ratio. The EHEX PHEX ratio and the PHEX Pulse ratio, pretty interesting. But pretty much those ratios kind of stable. Hex is still at close to 2 cents. So it's actually holding up pretty well, if you think about it at the moment. So kind of cool from that point of view. Let's jump over to the charts. I'm going to get rid of my DeFi llama here. Just close down a few things here. Going to get rid of that and that. And let's jump over to get rid of Pulsechains pools. It's not coming up for some reason. Probably most of the time, 9% I try to get the Pulsechains pools up. It doesn't render because I've got so many different windows open. But this is PHEX on Pulsechain, so 1.34 cents. You can see the massive drama here. Absolutely smashed through. This is on the hourly chart, by the way. Absolutely smashed through the hourly Bollinger Bands, which is no surprise. Yeah, but like that's pretty down to a minute. How much is that down? 64%. So everything came down about 60 to 65% on all these Richard Hart tokens, and that's pretty much it. But we are back up off the bottom there. So we got down as low as 0.0787 on PHEX. So if I saw someone in the chat there earlier saying they picked up a ton of PHEX. Congratulations to you, because that would look like a pretty good buy. And there we are. We bounced back 67%. So whoever did that made some pretty decent gains out of this Black Swan event. Yeah, if you're sitting on stables and you're able to ratio in, or sitting on some other token that had a better ratio and you ratioed that, we are getting ratioing as well, right? It's not just stable coins buying stuff up. It's actually ratio trading going on too, depending on whether your token held up better than other tokens, right? So that's also being in the game there. And of course, so we've got 1.3 cents at the moment, which means that we are down from the price. We started off at 2.176. So we're actually getting a higher price on PX. PX was actually getting stronger before we left. So we had almost 2.2 cents. And so we came down from a stronger price, a rising price for PX, and it is currently down about 40% at the moment, just under 40% at 1.3 cents. So this is the key mark here. I'll be watching that as well. And it is kind of in this sideways no man's zone at the moment. So we've got to see where it's going to go from here. That's our PHEX, EHEX. So that is on the hourly. Let's go to the daily on PX just so we get the daily chart. That is the chart there. And you can see we're only a couple of days away from the highest of stakes premiere. It is getting pretty close. So lots of drama there. We've got a new candle, new green candle. Yeah, let's see that green candle go green. So we've still got a green candle in the new K. That was the old candle. We've got how many? 20 minutes into the new candle here on my charts. And of course, we've got about 2-3 days to go until the highest of stakes premiere, depending on which one you're talking about. But that is still ahead of us as well. So we're going to get a little rise into the highest of stakes. We certainly got big advertising from the SEC. And of course, the video, the highest of stakes film documentary was controversial anyway. And so now it's even more controversial. So there we are. There's your marketing budget. Thank you very much, the US government, right? That's pretty much it. All right. So that is pretty much PHEX. We've got EHEX as well. EHEX on the hourly here on Ethereum. And of course, this is not bridged in EHEX. This is the Ethereum Hex. And this is actually done not too bad. It's certainly some people, if you had leverage plays, some people might have got stock liquidated. So there's a bit of that out there, but not a lot. There's not a lot of leverage in the system yet. A lot of the leverage positions are coming up in the big protocols launching, right? So there's not a lot of positions in that, but there would be a few people may have suffered that with the old Black Swan event. And of course, at the moment, Let's have a look at where we were. Well, how far down would we go? We went down to half a penny, just over half a penny. And of course, we were down there for a little bit. Now, typically on these leverage protocols, if you're on them, there'll be about half an hour. The average weighted price is how they work. So this would have still potentially have stopped out a few people. And of course, at the moment, we went down 38% on the old EHEX there. Not as dramatic as on the PHEX. But the price actually jumped back and is up 25% at the moment, sitting at 0.0064. So, but there is a bit of a battle going on here on the hourly. That is pretty much on the old EHEX there. Now, looking at the daily, that is the daily chart there. So actually performed relatively better, but of course that may have also caused some problems for people if they did have leverage positions. So 0.064 is the price. Let's see how we go. And of course, we've got 2 or 3 days to go for the highest stakes. That's pretty much it. Let's look at the combined price of EHEX and PHEX. This is the hourly chart here on investdex.io. And of course, we've got the founder in the chat there as well. This is the 15-minute chart. Look at this. We were up on combined price before all this happened, before the SEC hit the fan. We had 3.2 cents. And of course, down we came. Wow, down to combined price of 1.629 cents. Woohoo! That is where we've got down to 3.1 to 1.69. That's amazing, right? Amazing. That's combined price. So let's have a look at what that looks like. This is EHEX and PHEX together. And of course, that is if we average it out, because remember, PHEX was down like 60 something percent. EHEX down like 40%, so 40 something. And so the average down was 47%. On the combined price, 47% down. So pretty much a 50% correction. And we're still down, relatively speaking, 37% from the combined top there before the news hit the fan there, which means that we're still got a bit of work to do. And we're only up, combined price up at 19% on average on both of them. So still work to be done there. Normally what happens with this, you want to see it push back up into this mark here. So you typically like to see a 2/3, I guess. That's from my opinion there. And of course, that would be back up around about 2.7 cents. Early days still. We'll see how we get on as we go here with high stakes coming up. And we'll look to see things recover there as well. And maybe we won't have so much capital flight. And the other cool thing is we're going to have native stablecoins coming. Now, if you want to know why they are so important, native stablecoins, why liquid loans and why Power City Earn Protocol, why Coast stablecoin is so important, this is a prime example because, you get some of the classic capital flight back out, but now we're going to have these stablecoins based on the system. And you wonder why these protocols launched so late to get volatility out of the way. Well, here's a prime example of that as well, because these protocols will be launching after all the biggest things that could possibly hit the fan have hit the fan. So it's turning out pretty good for Pulsechain with the timing of everything. And of course, I'm sure Liquid Loans and all the other people are pretty happy with everything playing out before they go to launch, which I think is pretty exciting. Some pretty nice insights there, right? So cool. All right. Let's see how we get on there at the moment. That is the combined price of 1.95. So trying to get back to 2 cents, which is here. This is 2 cents here. So if you put a line there, that is 2 cents. Let's put a little line on 2 cents. And that is, where's my line going? That's my line. Let's make it a bit thicker though. Let's make that nice and thick. That is the 2 cent target on there. So that's where we're trying to get back to. That's where we're fighting over at the moment. The high so far on the hourly has got back to 2.3 cents combined. And so that's kind of, we've got to break that 2.3 at the moment. So we're going to need a bit of time to do that. But look, we might get a little rise up here like that. Look forward to it. All right, so that is the Hex. Now the ratio of PHEX to Pulse, we can see that now one PHEX equals 204 Pulse, and of course that, look at the spike we had yesterday. We got all the way up to 227. So relatively speaking, Hex was still stronger than Pulse. Pulse getting hit the most, relatively speaking, on that volume. So, but still holding up pretty good here at 204. So Hex is still relatively stronger there on the price there, and that you could probably think in part the EHEX price. Interesting enough. Right, so there we also got the ratio of Hex, PHEX to EHEX. And of course, currently one PX at the moment will buy you 2.13 PX. And of course, that has softened off. This is on the hourly, right? This is on the hourly. This last chart was on the daily. Let's have a look at the daily chart here for PX, EX. And boy, look at yesterday's volatility. Insano in the braino. The ratio of P Hex to EHEX got to 2.81, which is a new all-time high. A new all-time high where PHEX was stronger than EHEX. But also it got really low. It got down to 1.88. So one PHEX got down to 1.88 EHEX. Insano volatility. Look at that. That is insano braino. Let's have a look at the hourly there on how that actually occurred. We got a big ratio pushed up here early on, and then of course to the high, and then of course it's PHEX there started to tank versus relatively speaking to EHEX. So because EHEX went down by 40% as opposed to 60% or so. So wow. Some pretty dramatic stuff there on the old EHEX chart there. And of course, if you were able to pick up good volumes, congratulations. That is pretty much the coverage there on the old EHEX PHEX. So yeah, drama hits the streets. Now, we've talked about obviously bridges, we've talked about farms, we've also got the validators. So the validators has been a big, strong story for Pulsechain. And of course, this has put confidence in for Pulsechain, and that continues to do so. This is really a strong 4 legs to the chair, as the old validators. We've got 36,661. I think we had another 400 enter over the last 24 hours. We're up to 36,661. Pretty amazing. Now, we did get up a high here. There has been a few little validators exit here from the looks of it, but seriously, we are looking really good on the validators. And of course, we've got 1.17 trillion Pulse is off the market. So not only are we having a higher EIP 159 burn with all this volume, but we've also got 1.17 trillion stakes as well off the market, which is amazing, right? So you're talking about probably over almost 1.3 trillion has been supply sunk so far, and we've got liquid loans coming up. That's likely to, if it all goes well, to supercharge that supply sink as well, and so get tons of it off the market. It's going to be really good. Now, I believe this APR is too high, but apparently some people are saying it's like over 10%. Here it says 17%. So if you're a validator, let us know. The price to be a validator, though, just got shaved. Instead of being $3,300, it only costs $2,062 at the moment to become a validator to buy 32 million Pulse. So it's a great time to enter a validating as well, as obviously picking and buying the dip if that's what you so choose to do. You can either sell, hold, or buy. And that's pretty much the options there on those ones. All right, so that is pretty much on the validators. Pretty cool. And of course, the Pulsechain itself on cheapness. Let's have a look. 2 cents to do a Pulsechain swap at the moment, so super duper cheap. 1/10 of a penny for a Pulsechain coin transfer, and 4/10 of a penny for a PRC20 transfer. And the gas at the moment is under $1 million on the beats. We are 629 times cheaper than Ethereum at the moment. And of course, we've got everything over on Ethereum over here. And what we don't have is about to launch in the next 30 to 60 days. We're about to have a lot of the top TVL protocols from Ethereum be forked over or launched on the Pulsechain. And of course, that includes GMX, 2 liquidity forks, stablecoins, and on-ramp, off-ramps. We've got it all coming. And of course, it's a good thing we've got this thing out of the way, right? Good thing we've got this out of the way. And we're launching after this Black Swan event. So good times ahead, in my view. Obviously, not financial advice, do your own research, all that good stuff. Bitcoin there, 314x cheaper than Bitcoin. That is the play at the moment. So good times, good times. All right, that is pretty much it. Let's jump over to the Pulsechain projects. Before we do that, though, let's have a quick look at the PRC20s and have a look at the price discovery. Everything is pretty much down, as you would expect. Some things more than others. And, of course, the only one actually that's got a price rise today, so far 17%, is relatively speaking, and that doesn't make much sense, but it looks like Wise Token, which is kind of funny, although it doesn't look like that on the chart. But everything's pretty much down. And let's go by liquidity pools because I like to do that. So Pepe is down 42%, and this is the one that's most likely to head towards parity with Ethereum in the right conditions with the right market is the old Pepe. Wrap Bitcoin there is down to $29. That's on wrap there. So let's have a look at a couple of the charts before we move on. That is the chart for Pepe. That is the chart for wrap Bitcoin. These are the big pools, right? The big liquidity, 176K. That is the chart. They all look pretty same, don't they? They all look pretty much the same, identical. on a lot of these top ones here. Maker is down as well. That looks pretty similar to, they all look pretty much identical on the top leaderboard there. So that is some of the prices. I'm going to scroll down here so people can come back and pause the video and look at those in their own time. But that is pretty much it. All right, let's go to, which was the ones that have dropped least? I don't know. On the big liquidity, which ones dropped least here? No, none of them really, except for Wise token. That number is sort of weird. So yeah, that's pretty much it out of the big liquidity pools. Let's jump over to the meme coins. Obviously, the meme coins is going to be impacted by the 9-inch DEX, which is coming out. And of course, at the moment, those are all down dramatically. I mean, they're all down. Even Paul Pleb is down 43%. So these are the ones that are going to benefit from the BBC. So these have big catalysts lifting the price in the future. Is the 9-inch token, right? So we're looking forward to that. So these could be super duper cheap prices that get absolutely massive price pushes later on with the 9-inch DEX launching. Obviously not financial advice, but definitely looking that way. We got Ben as the best performer, only down 30%. Pulse Dodge here is, let's have a look at this bit of liquidity. Pulse Dodge coin is down about 40% there at the moment. So yeah, 9-inch is delayed, right? But when that launches, this thing could go up and to the right here. Especially at these prices. Interesting on this one. And of course, Paul Pleb also. This is Paul Pleb. That is also looking pretty cheap at the moment. So down from 4 zeros, 10,000 down to 5 zeros, 6,000. Going to be interesting, but it has 9-inch. Both of these will benefit from 9-inch DEX launching. So that could be some pretty incredible opportunity there. But hey, not financial advice, all that good stuff. Let's get into the final one here, Pulsechain projects. We're going to get into that. And let me have a look on the Pulsechain projects. We're going to talk about that in a second. So we've got Mafia, Pulse Mafia, which I think is the delegating option from one of the YouTubers out there. That is up 12% at the moment. That is the best performer of the day, the only one in green. It's relative. I don't know why it's showing green when the chart is so red. So I'm just cautious about that one. We've got Texan Token holding up pretty well, down 2%. Is that really holding up 2%? Okay, so I guess it is. Yeah, it's on the hourly. Or daily? No, that's on a daily. Yeah, this says down 2%, but hey, look, it is down at 6202 there, so it's definitely lost quite a bit there, down too. This has got a very small pull as well. That's pretty much it. Prate is down. P share is down quite a bit, $1,300 off 4,000. They're all pretty much down there at the moment. T-Trap there, which is probably the best performer. T-Trap is about to launch its DEX, and we're going to talk about that. That is the Tetrap one. Yeah, it was rising pretty nicely. It looked like it was about to lose a zero, but before it lost a zero, it came down. There's the old Tetra one there, and Tetra is about to launch, right? So Tetra is launching very soon. So very soon indeed, today, within the next 12, 40, 24 hours. I haven't heard anything different from them. They're going to be launching all their pools over the next few days. One pool will open on the 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th. So all the pools are opening up for Tetra. So that we'll see what happens with the price of Tetra with that. At the moment, of course, it's suffering from the Black Swan event. So we'll see what that ends up being too. And that is Tetra. I don't know if they've got any updates since we started the live stream. So let's have a quick look at that. No update there. They were expected to launch on the 31st of July. That's a typo there. Yeah, first pool open on the 1st of August. This is going to be launching pretty soon, is my guess. All right, that is that. So we'll be watching note price of Tetra too. The next one, of course, is Pulsechains. We're going to move away from the charts here from the Pulsechain projects because that's pretty much, I think I went through all those pretty decently. The big liquidity at the moment, the biggest liquidity holders at the moment are Algo, which is tied to Hex. Tetra, they're 218. TYRH is at 210. How did TYRH feel since it's been doing so well? That also got sold down, but not still holding up pretty well at 0017, all the way from 0033. So it's down a fair amount, for 50% down on that one. That's a lot of burn, extra burn, by the way. People are burning that. And then PCA holding up at 2700. So those are the performers there at down 30. That's based on liquidity pools. These are all the big ones. Beetroot is at 000149. And that's Tony Daytona Finance there at 3.5 cents. Those are the big liquidity pools, and Time Token is at just over 1/10 of a penny. That brings us into obviously the NFT space, And the NFT space is where things have actually held up. Things have actually held up on the NFT space. So particularly Pulse Apes. Pulse Apes are the clear leader at the moment, like by a country mile, is Pulse Apes Yacht Club. They dominate the volume on Beatbox. Most volume for NFTs is on Beatbox at the moment. Hex Toys marketplace is up. If you haven't checked out my top 6 NFT marketplaces, check that out on yesterday. 4 of them have yet to launch fully or launch at all. So just take that into account. But these are all launching in the next 36 days, 30 to 6 days as expectations as well. And of course, yeah, the Pulse Yacht Club there is like a boss on the old volume. So yeah, I've retweeted my tweet yesterday. Over 500 million PLS trading volume, dominating early NFT trade volumes as Pulsechain apes on Pulsechain, clearly miles ahead of everybody else. And if you go to Beatbox, you can see that the PAYC is the #1 performer. The #2 performer, which is about half the volume, is Pulse Souls, which is the one that we interviewed as well. And of course, big shout out to Pedro Fuentes from Beatbox Market that helped to keep this project back where it should be. And #2 there. But PAYC, the volume has been doing very well. The price floor is held up, so it's still the same as it was yesterday. Not affected is the NFT space by the Black Swan event on Pulsechain. And the volume is spectacular still, 15 million. It is ticking over like a bomb. So there we are. It's done very well. Compared to PRC20s, the PRC 721s, at least for Pulse Ape Yacht Club, the premier one, easily out on its own, is pretty much performing extremely well. So the Pulse Apes absolutely killing it there as well. We've got an update, of course. We're expecting phase 2 to begin. And of course, the first airdrop for the snapshot was the 23rd of July. And of course, we're expecting phase 2 to begin. And of course, that was an update. We've got that here. So dear apes, I'm sorry for the lack of notices information. I've been waiting for responses from the dev since yesterday, but he is very busy with his personal work and things. So he has just been able to connect now, and we have decided to move the launch of our token tomorrow. So the PAYC token is coming, but has been deferred to the 1st of August US time probably. So yeah, tomorrow, Tuesday the 1st. So it's coming out imminently. So we'll hopefully hear about that soon, if not already. And then, of course, the time window will be decided when the community in which the token will be launched randomly in a range of 2 hours. So the token will be launched randomly, and the airdrops to holders will be there as well. Don't forget that all of the apes are going to be put into an ape jail. You have to pay to get them out. And of course, staking will begin as well. We are expecting another Medium article around staking and more details. Yeah, this is interesting that the Pulse Apes value has held up on the market. No real change, not even a dent in the values here. And of course, the volume's still killing it over 15 million on 24-hour volume. So very nice. Early days too. Early days, right? And now they've got the token coming out, the PAYC token. I'm sure that's going to do pretty well here on the projects. I'm going to have a separate market for NFT DeFi because the tokens are going to be running separately. So pretty exciting on that one. I'm pretty stoked about that. I think that's a pretty interesting little insight there too. The old Pulse Apes. So we've been covering PRC 721s, trying to help the market evolve because PRC 721 contracts are a big part of Ethereum, and we want them to be a big part of Pulsechain. We also want to attract a lot of the people from Ethereum into Pulsechain as well with the NFTs. Now, it doesn't mean that you have to participate. You don't. If you're into DeFi, you just do your DeFi thing. You don't have to do NFTs. But look under this Black Swan event. They've actually, particularly the Pulse Apes, have held up very well. And I think also the Pulse Souls volume is still doing pretty well also, which is the second best one, right? So, yeah, they've got 1 million volume today. So they have been hit a little bit on the volume today, but otherwise the floor price is holding up pretty well at the mint price at 400K. So still doing pretty well on this one too. And of course, early days for the wrap version, but Pulse Ape is ruling the world with the apes. All right, so pretty cool. We got some news about PLS Speak. Well, we haven't talked about this for a long time. PLS Speak, we have not talked about this, but the PLS Speak Game Changer social platform on Pulsechain, this is coming to town as well. And of course, we got an update here, I believe, from this somewhere. I can't remember. Anyone asking estimation of the PLS Speak launch, this video could give you the best estimates. Enjoy. And this is from Liquid Loans of all people. I haven't actually watched it, so I'm not actually sure what that means. But PLS Speak looks like they're getting closer to their launch as well, the social platform as well. So we look forward to that. That is coming up there from PLS Speak. So I thought I'd post that out as well. We'll see where that lies there. So it's plsspeak.com as well. So we will be following that. Now, the final thing is the big DeFis are coming to Pulsechain. And, of course, we've had lots of big updates here. Liquid Loans is pumping out the marketing material. They are ramping up before they put out their products, the multi-sig, the Fetch Oracle, which is so desperately needed. And, of course, the fork of Liquid Loans, which will collateralize Pulse, make Pulse more scarce. And, of course, as people collateralize, and, of course, we'll get another stablecoin with an amazing protocol. And, boy, oh boy, you can see the value of stablecoins in a Black Swan event, especially when you see the stablecoins, the prices get sold in stables, and the liquidity pools also reduce with the stables as well, as you get a bit of capital flight before we hopefully move into stability, which is funny, some of the stuff there, stability pool here on Liquid Loans. So kind of cool. We've also gotten a lot of stuff here from them, just non-stop coming out about liquidity, how they use the protocol, the power of borrowing, the power of stable coins. So they've really been pumping out a lot of stuff here on Liquid Loans, how the Fetch Oracle will work in terms of price calls, how to stake big and earn big, and all that sort of stuff. And I do say the timing after this Black Swan event couldn't be better. The timing is beautiful. Bring in leverage lending, stable coins, and of course collateralization of Pulse, and of course more earning opportunities with the loan token and USDL as well in platform. So looking very, very good for that. They're also going to be having incentives for the liquidity pool offerings as well. So look forward to seeing USDL stablecoins start to emerge and get bigger and bigger. And there'll be a function of how much Pulse goes on the platform too. Yeah, bring it on. The native stablecoins are coming. CST, USDL, and of course PXDC from Power City Earn Protocol. So lots of cool things happening there. We're up to an hour and 11 minutes on the chat here. We're going to quickly get into the Hex daily stats, then I'm going to catch up on the chat. We've got day 1337, 31st of July, the end of July, folks. The price snapshot there is at 00622, so just over 6/10 of a penny. The price down 28.7%. And, of course, the payout per T-share with more volatility, 6.796, which is not that bad. Not that bad given the price decrease today. The penalty is not so big there. And the share rate there, top day, 28,522. We know that probably tomorrow, I think it is, we're expecting a big day or the day after of a big jump of about 400 hex per T-share. So we'll be looking for that maybe tomorrow or so. Have we got it yet? I don't know if we've got it yet. Let me have a look here on the share rate. 28.5 doesn't show up yet, so we'll see. But that's the next day. The average length there, 7.07 years for the length there, 40.32% APY. We got 236 million hex in the pool, up from 211. The liquidity in the pool, 266 versus 240. We actually got more liquidity, which is LPs in there. And ETH in the pool has been removed, though, down from 164 to 54 on that event. T-shares are down 13,000, so we've had a bit of a trend the last couple of days on eHex. We're sitting at 9,869 T-shares. So if you've got T-shares, you're even more exclusive now. Pretty much it. What else we got going? 9.35% of all hex is locked on Ethereum. The penalties are today 4.7 million. So we had 2 days of penalties. Other than that, we've been not too bad. We had a big day back here, but we've been pretty good the last 20 days or so on the old eHex. And of course, we got volatility today. We got increase in 63 liquid holders today, which is kind of cool. Miners down 16 to 120,428. That is hex on Ethereum. Day 1337. And of course, we've got day 80. Can you believe it? On Pulsechain, day 80. We've finished day 80 and we're about to start day 81. And of course, day 80 on Pulsechain, 31st of July. The price there at 1.3 cents down pretty dramatically from the 1.97 yesterday, which is 33.7%. So a bigger move down on the old Pulsechain side. The payout per TC is 7.014. That's pretty good, but even not overly dramatic, but it's pretty good. 7 X per TC. And the penalties there, and the share rate increase in 0 today on that one. Average mining length is 7.06 years. The APY slightly higher than EX, 41.33%. What else have we got going in there? The T-shares in the ownership pool down 18,000. We're sitting at 9,880,000. How does that compare to the EHEX side actually now? Let's have a look at that with the T-shares. They're pretty similar, I think. There we go here. So 9,869. So there's 11,000 difference. 11,000 difference in the T-shares. So there's 11,000 more T-shares on Pulsechain side at the moment. Let's wrap this up. 9.42% of Hex is locked on the old Pulsechain. We got pretty good penalties today, 9 million in penalties. And how does that compare with Ethereum? Ethereum had, if I recall, had 4.7, so almost twice as much on the old Pulse chain there. So yeah, more volatility. Looking at the holders, up 688 liquid holders, but miners are down 31 on the old Pulse chain, 123,477, which means how many more miners have we got? We've got 120,000 miners on the old EHEX, but we've got 123. So it's about 3,000 miner differences more on the Pulse chain than there is on Ethereum. There are 3,000 more miners. That's pretty much it. We've just started day 1338 on the immutable code of Hex in the decentralized chain. Let's always remember that. It just keeps ticking along, day 1338. And of course, we're just starting day 81 on the old Pulse chain. You can see that there, 81 at the top right there on gopulse.com. That's pretty much it. That is the dramatic day of SEC versus Richard Hart. And of course, we'll be watching as Pulsechain's ecosystem is going to have its biggest growth in the next 30 to 60 days, with all the big protocols launching from DeFi to NFTs, marketplaces. It's all going to be there. Leverage lending's coming. And of course, we're going to be watching the highest of stakes in a couple of days, premiere in Miami. And of course, at theaters throughout the United States. So it's going to be a lot of fun to see all that play out. Very cool. All right, let's wrap up on some of the comments. Let's leave on the price of Pulse at the moment. Let's go to the hourly chart here on Pulse as well. That is the hourly chart at quadruple 06559 on the old Pulse chain. Now, let's go back up to the chat. We're going to wrap up. We're up to an hour and 16, so I'm pretty much at my live stream targets. So let's see if we can wrap up here. Big thank you to everybody that's been watching on both Superman Crypto and Hex Token, of course. I think we got up around 80 viewers at some stage, which was not too bad. If you want to keep talking about different things, get into our Discord, of course. A lot of people have been playing there, so cool. Let's have a look here. Let me have a look here. We've got a few others. Let's go through some of those comments. What else? Let's jump through that. Just going through all these comments, just catching up here. Big welcome to the new people to the chat, of course. Charity says, I have a feeling in 2 years we'll be looking back at these prices and it seemed like nickels and dimes. Crypto Compassion, and I'll say crypto. Good to see you. Let me go through those comments. Speeding through. Yeah, 9-inch. We're waiting for 9-inch launch. That's going to be coming up as well. Temperature will be awesome too, with all the pools launching in the next week. Over the next week, we're expecting that to launch. The DAP to launch pretty soon, within the next 12 to 48 hours, 24 hours, I should say, barring any delay. What else there? Let me jump through some of that. Archipelago says, thanks for another great show and all the work you do, sir. Hey, you're welcome. You're welcome. Bob Wells, thanks, Superman. Hey, you're welcome too. Superman, catch up on the chat. Bought PLS. Cheers, says refined. Nice work there. Very, very good. PS tomorrow, August the 1st at 2 p.m. Pacific. The Tetra stakes are scheduled to go live. Let's hope that happens, says Bob. Yeah, okay, good stuff there. So that's the latest intel. August the 1st at 2 p.m. Pacific time. The Tetra stakes are scheduled to go live. Let's hope that happens. Yeah, well, that's what they're on target to do, as we showed earlier. So I don't, unless they decide to delay, that is the case. This is the Hex Token Discord. Jump in there, folks, to continue the chat with everybody in the audio chat. It's been going off in there. Talking about everything, DeFi, the SEC, the NFT space. It's all happening. The next 36 days is when the ecosystem is going to have its major protocols, and the timing after the Black Swan event is good. Perfect timing for leverage lending come in place. All right, take care, everybody. Hope you guys enjoyed it. I'm going to play out the highest of stakes video. This is only 2 or 3 days away from the launch of the highest stakes, and cross theaters across the United States. It's going to be a lot of fun. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Either Superman Crypto or Hex Token channel or both. And of course, don't forget to like the video. And if you're watching us afterwards, leave your comments. Always get back to the comments as well. Join our Discord. It is free. We have all the information and the best community. You can chat about your experience on there as well. Get some help is also it really is a great place. We're looking forward to having you there. And of course, yeah, onwards and upwards, as we say, onwards and upwards. If you want to join as a member of the channel, hit the join button. We've got Pulsechains, Hexkins, and Richard Hart Club. And once again, big shout out to all the long-term holders like SKB who've been supporting the channel. Brian, and of course, Sandy and others out there as well. Big shout out. All right, take care, everybody. Peace out. Bye for now.
Is Richard Hart. Genius.
Legendary.
Arrogant. Bit of a narcissist.
The benevolent king.
$250,000. Hate me. I'm farther than you'll ever be in your whole life. Whatever the governments have been doing, it's not worked out. You've never had worse interest rates. Your money has never been worth less. And the only thing that's making it better is cryptocurrency.
Crypto is money without governments, and it is money without banks.
You're not going to meet another product like this as long as you live. Yes, every scammer in the world is going to tell you something similar.
Good morning, everyone. Are you ready to look for some fraud this morning?
They are promising 40% annual return.
Everything I have worked for is staked in Hex.
Good.
I put it all in.
All what?
All of our house money. No, I don't think that it's a scam. Because I trust Richard Hart.
If ultimately this is all a big performance art project, people are gonna get fucked.
So that means I should trust you.
Listen, I think you should trust me, but if you get into the habit of trusting people like me, you get the crap scammed out of you.